It's your Hump Day.
Hump Day, yeah!
High Noon Atlanta radio show for the entrepreneurs to the small business owners and nonprofit organizations hang out for their opportunity to be on the ledge. Now, let's welcome your host, Carl Callender.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us on the Ledge VIP. This is Carl Callender. Thank you very much. Hey, guys, I have a guest in here, and I had to bring him back again for round two here. His name is Harold Alexander with Underground App. How you doing, Harold?
Oh, man, it's a blessing to be here. Thank you.
Man, the last episode that we did, man, you was giving us a great information about your app and everything that it's going to be able to do for unsigned or unknown artists, and you're about to change the game on that. But what we want to talk about today is go a little bit deeper on artificial intelligence, AI, and how it's affecting the world now and what it's going to do in the future. So you're very much a tech guy. You've been doing this for many years, a couple of decades now.
Yeah.
So you're pretty in tune. So let's first start off about what is AI.
Okay, so this is one of those definitions that get a little lost, a little in the shuffle. But basically, AI is when machines start acting like humans. It's more of a type of intelligence that machine has. So just to give you like an example, for years and years, machine was used and very effectively to do just repetitive tasks, right? If they like think of an automotive industry, they would have a robotic arm to put the door on a car or something like that, or put the engine in a car, or put, feet on a piece of furniture. So they did that over and over and over again with very good efficiency. And then later what happened is that they started adding intelligence to it. So basically, machines don't handle change very well. So if you thinking of that same machine doing the same thing over and over again, and then let's inject change to it, it usually causes a lot of problem.
Okay.
So intelligence is when machines detect the change and adapt to that change. So that what makes the difference between just a regular machine doing something and then it being intelligent. So it changes based on its environment. So that's a very basic definition of artificial intelligence.
Okay, so and I'm going to ask you this question. You might not know the answer, but I got to ask this question.
Okay.
About how long has artificial intelligence has been implicated into our daily lives?
Well, into our daily lives it goes back to it's in GPS. It actually it's been in GPS for a while, and so it's been in our daily lives. It's kind of hard to give an exact year, but it's probably been a few years,
right?
Since it's been in our daily lives.
Can we go maybe back to maybe 80s or 90s as far as artificial intelligence?
Well, yeah. Well, So when that's a different topic. That's when it's actually artificial intelligence has been around, right, and not in our day-to-day activities.
Okay.
So I think it goes back into the 60s or 50s as far as with artificial intelligence going. That's been around for a little bit of time, but it is growing more and more in our daily lives, and we have it and we access it, and we don't realize that we're accessing AI. Even our Alexa, that's a form of AI.
Yes.
The Google Home Assistants, those are all AI now. Our phone is mostly AI. So it's around us a lot. So and it's been around us for some years, and it's going to continue just to grow.
Okay. So when you say continue to grow, so what's the outlook on how it's going to affect us in the future?
So it's basically going to change the way we interact with everything from our refrigerators and stove to our cars. I did this talk at the insurance with the insurance industry about how AI is going to have an effect on autonomous vehicles. Right now, right now we hail a Uber or Lyft right from our phone, and then the driver will come up. Down the road, the Uber or Lyft will be driverless. It will be
hold on. No, you're gonna have to say that again because I don't.
Yeah, so it's going to have an autonomous vehicle, and they're becoming more and more accepted in the country and around the world. But autonomous vehicles are going to be pretty much exclusively artificial intelligence that's going to be running those cars.
Okay, before we finish what you were saying, now when you talk about that, I see AI as a good thing, and then again I see it as a bad thing because now we're talking about people not having jobs.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's it can be. So what we're going to have to do with artificial intelligence is just be very proactive. I think a lot of people get scared of it. As soon as they hear it, they get scared and they just back off. And that's going to be the wrong approach. If you really want to affect the change of AI, people have to be involved. And that actually starts from the ground level of getting involved with your politician, find out who they are, what their ideas of AI is, how they feel about it. And they got to enact laws to help guide and steer the direction of artificial intelligence. Otherwise, it's going to go crazy.
Okay.
It's understandable that there's going to be a fear that's involved with that, and that, there are going to be jobs. There have been reports all over about the whole job thing. There's actually reports that said that AI would actually increase jobs in America. And one of the things that they said was going to happen.
Well, one day we're gonna have live is coming for the show here because you laughing at my face. Like, I don't believe that one. Yeah. So people could actually see how I'm looking at it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but basically, they're going to have. So the whole thing about AI and taking away jobs. There's been reports about that AI will increase jobs in certain cases. I mean, there have been people who debunk those reports and everything. So they're saying that, and how they're predicting this is that they said AI will take some of the repetitive motions of jobs, like the drivers and all of those, but there will be other jobs that will be created for AI, like more in the development part, more in the maintaining them, updating. So there'll be other jobs that are created now. At the rate, I'm not sure about, but they've said, and there's been reports that said that's going to happen. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on how that goes.
Okay. I know I kind of sort of interrupted you about with the insurance part of it. So did you have any more information on the insurance part? 'Cause I know you said you did.
No, so I did a little talk on that, and then we were talking about the AI and how it's running the. I was doing the autonomous cars, right? And how there's going to be less people driving on the streets because the cars will be autonomous. So, there will be people in back seats of the cars with the cars taking them to where they want to go. So there's been predictions that accidents will tremendously drop. There was also predictions that the auto insurance industry will disappear. But there's thoughts that it's not going to really disappear, but it's going to maybe be transformed, right? And so, because as the autonomous cars come more and more onto the streets, less drivers, and the auto insurance industry, they're individual driver type thing, right? So less drivers mean less insurers, but so the auto industry will just have to change and start insuring different types, different parts of the automobile.
Right. So let's say right now with the auto industry, they have to adapt, or they're adapting right now to electric cars.
Right.
Right now there's not too many, how can I put it? Gas, that industry there, when you talk about the oil industry, is a very big industry.
Oh, yeah, huge.
And there's a lot of pushback about the electric cars, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
Right.
I could see that going on now as far as going from gas to electric and to cars not being manned. Who's working on this technology right now?
You talking about autonomous cars?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the auto industries are.
Okay.
Every single one of them. The Tesla is leading this. They're probably number one. There's some startups that are coming up that are trying to tackle Tesla. General Motors. All of them. Toyota, Mercedes, all the companies are trying to do something with the electric car. They see it's the future.
Right.
So the country of the United Kingdom, the UK, announced, I want to say this was probably about a year or two ago, where they said they're going to ban all gas vehicles into their country. So not only will they not manufacture gas vehicles, but they're going to not allow them to be imported into their country. And I want to say that's 2040, 2030, somewhere around that area.
Yeah, so we're talking about another 10 or 20 years from now.
Something like that. Yeah. So, well, they're giving auto industry a time to kind of adapt to that. Right. And then that was the UK. I want to say China announced something very similar, where they're going to have where gas cars won't be into their country as well. So I mean, it's starting to trickle around the whole country. I mean, around the whole world.
Right.
And then
Right, and those two countries right there have a lot of influence.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so, yeah. So.
Okay. So tell me about, let's say, we talked about the economy. We talked about jobs and cars. What about healthcare?
Yeah. So healthcare is going to be a little different because it's going to help people get better quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
So what basically AI will be doing in healthcare is detecting diseases and any type of complications early. And I'll give this example of your Fitbit that you have or your Apple Watch. That would right now that's kind of isolated, so it only sends information to your phone or to you so that you only have information. In the future, AI will be implemented into this to where your Fitbit will be connected on your wrist, and then it will be connected to maybe your EMR application at your doctor's office. So, and all that will be AI, right?
Okay.
So it will be constantly reading, your heartbeat and your blood pressure and everything, and then if it notices any abnormalities, it'll contact your doctor. It'll be mainly for people with high risk, right? Who have chance, high risk of heart disease, high risk of a heart attack. Even women who are pregnant, who have a high risk pregnancy, can kind of put this band on and kind of get an idea if everything is okay. So yeah, it will be kind of one of those things where AI will be implemented into the health industry in order to kind of help keep costs down and keep people healthier. Because if you catch something early, then of course it's a lot less expensive, and the person has a greater chance of surviving and living a healthier life. So that's how AI is going to really help.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot going on for AI.
It is.
Artificial intelligence.
Very much so. Yeah, it's a changing industry. There are companies that have that's working with it. I'll tell you a funny story. Facebook did this, and I want to say this was 2 or 3 years ago, but Facebook was playing around with AI, which is machine learning is another term for it. But so what Facebook did was they took these two machines. They were totally separate. They took these two machines. They put AI on both machines, and then they connected the machines together, right? And they just watched it. And that's all they did. So they two developers wrote different programs on these two different machines, connect them, and they started watching it. And then nothing happened for a while. And then after a while, they started seeing traffic going across the lines. So they started seeing data, just like data going back and forth. And the engineers at Facebook was like, oh, well, that's nothing. It's just garbage, right? And then they looked at it a little
Okay.
closer.
Okay.
And they found out that not only did those two separate machines develop their own language, they started communicating in that language. So it was almost like they created their own separate language that so they could communicate with each other. So I think they may have done, the machine must have done some tests at the very beginning just to kind of determine what language they're going to communicate in. And then they started communicating across that language on those two lines without any